Why are these lower level elections and also the flag bearer elections so critical for the APC at this point in its political journey?
Well, thank you very much. I mean, they are critical in the sense that is the commencement of our internal democratic process. I mean, it is where we start, putting the structures of the party in place, electing officials who will serve the party for the next 2 to 3 years at every level, from ward level to constituency level, district, regional and national executive as well. But in addition to that also, we have organs within the party, the Young Congress, the Women's Congress, the diaspora units. So all of these are different units, and the different party structures across the country and in the diaspora will have to elect their officials who will now, oversee the running of the party at those levels. But more importantly we'll have to now go into the process of electing the person that will have to serve as our presidential candidate for the 2028 elections. So it is critical for us as a party because not only are we starting our internal democratic process, but then also we'll have to elect those officials that will ensure we come to power 2028.
Let's talk about the issue of preparedness. I mean, that's very much important, as though, the elections that are upcoming are also very integral. But how prepared is the APC, I mean, realistically, for the lower level, and that's also for the flag bearership position, looking at all the internal democracy and all the issues, going on within the party?
We are prepared. Of course, we are behind time. I have to be honest. We should have way past this stage now, but of course we had challenges. Some had to do with national issues. We, had to, address certain issues through the PPRC. We spent a couple of months at the PPRC, but thankfully that is now over. The PPRC has given us the green light to go ahead. And before that, we were also in the process of developing a new digital membership registration database. That is far advanced. We have now over 160,000 people in our database. We've just completed the printing of about 129,000 membership cards in China. Those cards will get here on the 14th, and they will be distributed to all of those who have completed their verification and membership registration process. We are now in the process of generating the voters register for the ward elections. Those should be out today so that all those who are eligible to participate will have their names, and those who have issues to clear, they will have the opportunity to clear those issues and become eligible to participate in those elections. So we are in the process of completing all of these, and at the same time we are engaging the respective people who want to take part in all of these elections as candidates, so we keep unity and peace within the party.
Tunis, you may agree with me that elections of this nature, let's say the lower level and that of the flag bearership elections, set the tone for the general elections. Now, how does the APC would ensure that, just these internal elections are transparent and credible?
Our level of engagement, even me being here, talking to the public, shows how transparent we are when it comes to, making sure that we complete all of these processes. And we'll continue that way because, like you stated, it is incumbent upon us as a party to show how democratic we are. That is one. And secondly, to keep our party together as a unit. And the only way we can do that is to ensure that everyone is satisfied with the processes. We all believe in the processes that we are implementing. Everyone own the outcome at the end of the day, so that when we conduct elections, they are proper enough, they are transparent enough that the outcome will be acceptable by all. And that is really the standard that we want to set as an executive for these elections that are coming, which is why we have continued to encourage our membership to bring their concerns to the party. Do not just assume and go on social media and start, casting allegations against executive members in the party. If you have concerns, there are, units within the party that you can channel your complaints and your concerns through. Or more so, you can come to us, the national executive. We can address those concerns just so that we keep everyone in tune with what we are doing as an executive and how the processes will be completed.
Has the APC tried to settle the internal dispute within the party, also with the issue of Samsumana?
Well, the PPRC has already dealt with the issue of Samsumana. So as far as we are concerned, there are no more issues when it comes to...
Is he welcomed back to the party?
He is. In fact, I can state here clearly that we were instructed by the PPRC to replace his card. That has been done. He's been participating. He can campaign. If he wants to be a candidate, that is entirely up to him now. But as far as his eligibility, that has been cleared by the PPRC. And I always say this, and I've said this repeatedly, we are very mindful of our constitutional provisions and the provisions of the national constitutions and other laws. We are not in any way, as an executive, against anyone who is qualified or who is eligible running for any office within the party. As long as you are qualified and eligible as per the APC constitution, you can run for any position within the party. And as long as you are eligible and qualified as per the APC constitution and the national laws of this country, you are free to run for the presidency or the flag bearership of the APC. Because when it comes to that, we do not just look at the APC constitution. We look at the national constitutional provisions and other laws that govern, candidates who want to vie for presidency of this nation.
Now, this unity meeting for potential flag bearers or aspirants or those who've shown interest in the party's pole position for the next election, was it just a show of solidarity, or were concrete commitments made during the meetings?
It is our commitment as a national executive and other stakeholders in the party to keep the party together. We have a lot of misconception and, circulation of, accounts on social media that may cause problem for the party. A lot of them are, due to misinformation and perception of people. And so we needed to ensure that we keep us together as a unit. And those who are interested in running for offices, not just the flag bearer, intending flag bearer aspirants, but across the board, needs to be engaged regularly so they know exactly what is at stake and what we stand to lose as a party if we are not united. And they also know exactly what we are doing as an executive and how we can all work together to make things better. We will always have challenges as a political party, but us working together and addressing those challenges at the end of the day will give every one of us confidence that this is how things ought to be. We do not have all the answers, but us aspiring to lead the party, to hold positions in the party, will require us also to show leadership, show maturity, and show commitment to seeing the progress and development of the party going forward, which is why it is important to have them continuously engaged. Let them see themselves as competitors and not as enemies. And let them also have confidence in us, in the executive, that we are doing what is right by the party and by this nation. The people of this country have huge expectations, to seeing the APC formidable and united, and that is exactly what we are focused on as leaders of the party currently.
Are there mechanisms in place, or do we have existing mechanisms and structures to ensure that aspirants who might lose will genuinely support the eventual flag bearer. I know this might not be the gospel truth, but certain people were concerned of how others supported or did not support Samuel Kamara in his bid in the past 2 elections. Will there be a commitment this time around that even if you are not the flag bearer, not only the party's commitment, but also the one who won will get the commitment fully?
Yes, I mean, we've had such commitments, but I mean, a human being is a human being. So what we're trying to do is not to give anybody a reason not to support whoever emerges as the winner at the end of the day, which is why it is important for us and the national executive and those charged with the responsibility of conducting the internal elections be transparent enough. So at the end of the day, when somebody wins, nobody has reason to go out there and you know, call foul and you name it. So we have to, in keeping them engaged also, we're asking for their concerns, we're asking, you know, for, and we also educating them to let them understand that, okay, if you have a grievance, there is a structure within the party through which you can channel your grievance. They are authorized by the constitution of the APC to address those grievances within a specified period of time. If you are not satisfied, you have another channel you can use. So they have to understand all of these things, because what happens most of the time, people go on social media and say things that are not true. And then you give the impression to others out there that the APC is not united. Mm-hmm. Disagreement does not necessarily mean disunity. You can disagree with me, but we are still together. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, people see disagreement as disunity, and they start, you know, casting doubt as to whether, in fact, the party is united because of the many disagreements that we have within the party.
Are there safeguards in place, you know, during these lower level elections? Because these lower level elections will determine, even though not outrightly, but you look at the levels, the lower levels elections technically, and then begin to preempt who has support within the party for the flag bearer. Will these elections, you know, prevent factional control at ward or constituency level, and what will be the representation, women's representation, youth representation within those lower level elections?
There are safeguards. There will be safeguards. I mean, even us, for example, the national executive, we only facilitate, you know, the electoral processes, but we are not charged with the responsibility of conducting elections. The Constitution was deliberate enough to create a body, an independent body, the Internal Elections Management Committee, responsible for conducting all internal elections within the party. But in addition to that also, the Constitution established another body called the Internal Elections Complaint Board. So if, for example, an election is completed and you're not happy with the outcome, you can go to the Elections Complaint Board with your, you know, evidence, and they can look at it. If they see that you have a case, then they will step in. If you do not have a case also, they can address and tell you don't have a case, and then the elections need to go forward. Mm-hmm. But in all of that also, we have the external, you know, the external monitor, the PPRC, you know, the regulators. So for every internal elections, they are there to monitor those elections to ensure that, you know, we go through as per the laws of this country and as per our own constitution as well.
Let's talk about the recently held unity meeting with the flag bearer aspirants. What were the takeaways? What was being agreed upon?
What were
the takeaways from what was agreed upon from that meeting?
It is important, you know, they always say when we talk, we don't fight much, you know, we create more understanding. I mean, you know, the camaraderie amongst them, you know, the exchange of ideas, the commitment of, you know, supporting whoever emerges at the end of the day, you know, so those are all takeaways, you know. But even where we are far away from that, I have to say this because we are not yet in the process of even having a flag bearer aspirant. I mean, these are just intending aspirants. But we want to reduce the misconceptions, the misunderstanding.
Were all of them part of it? The aspiring flag bearers, were they all there?
A good number of them were. Okay. About 18 of them were there. 18 of them were there. Some sent representatives because they are out of the country, but a good number of them were there, including Chief Samsumana. They were all there, you know. So, I mean, it's a good way to start, you know, creating bond and understanding amongst them, and also creating, you know, that channel of communication between them and the executive.
And also to probably ease the tension of fragmentation, right?
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, it is important at this stage because we need a united APC going into 2028.
So were there any sort of like binding commitments signed to respect?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there were resolutions, but of course these are for internal use only. Okay. But there were no binding commitments really. This was just an inaugural meeting. Like I said, we are far away, you know, from the issue of having flag bearer contest. So now we only want to ensure that those who are intending to be flag bearers, you know, among themselves, you know, exist unity, and they have to understand also that we are a party of laws, of rules. We are a party of structures. So there are ways through which you can channel concerns and grievances.
You publicly say there were no tensions behind closed door?
In the meeting? No, there were no tensions. It was very friendly.
Is 18 not too many for the APC?
Well, I mean, that is why I said it may start with 50, but it will not end with 50. Absolutely not. I mean,
because if we're being honest, when you look at those we have now who've intended, you can look, if you know the political culture of the APC, or if you know the political culture of SLM, you can look and say, you know, candidates A and B have strong constituencies behind them. I think if you put them with the other candidates, you know they will be favorable, or they're favorites to go into, you know these polls as compared to other. This is not saying the others will not win, but you know, based on the constituencies and the party involvement of those other members throughout the year, and you say this person will stand a chance if given the opportunity. Have the party looked at it that way?
Well, unfortunately, when it comes to electing a flag bearer, it does not just end with that. Who has a constituency behind him or her? There are other things you look at.
Yeah, I wanted to ask around the qualities that the APC is looking for.
Yes, there are other things you look at. You have to look at the national laws. What does our national law says when it comes to qualification or eligibility of people who want to aspire to be flag bearer? You have issues of dual citizenship, for example. You have issues around integrity. All of these things you have to look at. You have issues around age. All of these you have to look at. But then, of course, for us internally, you have to look at just what you said. The electability, the likability. The political capital. In terms of what. These qualities you have to look at, but we are far away from that at the moment. For now, people are just intending to be aspirants. They are expressing interest. So when it comes to actually now zeroing in, or getting into the elections itself, I'm sure the bodies who are responsible will look at the different eligibility issues as far as the APC constitution is concerned, and also the national constitution of Sierra Leone, and then they will look at the different laws, the different acts, and then they will be able to determine who are eligible and who are not.
So quickly before we go to Marius Samara, should Sierra Leoneans expect a new generation of leaders, or are we still going to be seeing the same familiar faces?
Well, I cannot determine that at the moment. I mean, if you ask me, I have my preference. But I'm sure that whoever the APC puts forward in the end will be someone that is qualified enough, someone that is capable enough to do better for this country and to take this country forward. You know, it is also about party policies and party programs, and it is now clear to the people of this country that the APC always has better programs and better policies to develop this nation.
Mr. Tunis, what role do party elders play, and how does the party ensure that they guide rather than control? Because APC is a party that prides itself as, you know, listening to its elders, and rightly so. You know, they can be influential. So how do you distinguish between control and advice?
Well, we have the Elders Council within the party, and they've been pivotal, you know, in keeping the party straight, and you know, also bringing us to book, even us in the national executive. And they've also been very busy engaging the different structures within the party, including those who are intending to be flag bearer in the party. They've also been very busy engaging them. They've called several meetings. They've engaged the executive severally on different issues that they are concerned about. And we are in touch. They are instrumental, and we hold them in high esteem. We listen to them, because these are not just names. These are people who have served the party over the years and who have served this country in different capacities. They enjoy enormous respect from people within the party and the general populace. So we were very careful in electing them to the Elders Council, and we hold them in high esteem, and we listen to their advice.
Now, finally, for me, as we round off, if a Sierra Leonean is watching this morning, and that person is skeptical about, you know, political parties, what would you say to convince them that the APC is genuinely changing and is ready for leadership role again?
We're a party in opposition, and so the challenges we face as an opposition party, you know, are enormous. They are far different than when you are in governance, you know, so people have to understand that. But in any case, we are formidable enough that we've been able to withstand all of these challenges and set our party, you know, on the path of winning the next election. So I have to let them understand this, that as much as we are facing challenges, let them be sure that we are committed as an executive to bringing the APC back to power. But that can only happen with their support and with their continuous loyalty and commitment to the party.
Quickly before you go, someone said I should ask this question with regards the leak audio, and how will that affect, you know, the party moving forward?
I want people to understand that there will always be those who will say things on social media. But we as an executive, I must say this, we are not, you know, giving preference to any one aspirant over another. We're treating everybody on an equal level playing field. If you are eligible to run for office within the party as per the provisions of the Constitution, you will be allowed to run. If you are eligible to run as flag bearer under the APC Constitution and the national laws of Sierra Leone, you'll be allowed to. No one person has preference over another. They are all treated on a level playing field, equal level playing field. Also, we have, like I stated earlier, structures within the party through which grievances and concerns can be channeled. If you really have evidence that a certain person in the executive has been given bribe to do something that is not proper, channel it through the disciplinary committee with your evidence. Disciplinary actions can be taken. But just casting allegations on social media that you yourself know may not be true, I mean, it can only cause more problems for the party. But I want to assure the public that the executive, at the end of the day, will have no control over the internal elections, because even us will be contesting for our various positions. I will not be in control. We cannot conduct our own elections. We cannot conduct elections for our own positions. We have the Internal Elections Management Committee, the IEMC. They are charged with the responsibility of conducting internal elections.
In just few words, if possible, honestly speaking or realistically speaking, beyond winning the internal elections, how ready is the APC, to govern Sierra Leone today?
I mean, people always ask these questions, and I always tell them the APC will never, I will repeat this and I will say this with all confidence, the APC will never be defeated in any general election in this country that is free, fair, and credible. And we exhibited that in 2023. With all the challenges that we faced, even on the day of our convention, we were in court. We only elected our flag bearer aspirants about 3 months to the general elections. I mean, they saw the outcome. We are always ready, we are always prepared. We are even more prepared now than in 2023. The APC is the most attractive political party in this country currently, and we are set to win in the 2028 elections. We are ready, we are prepared, and that is why we are focused. Things are happening. People will think that we are not paying attention to those things that are happening. We have structures. We have structures that we have set up to monitor every aspect of the electioneering process happening in this country. And we are keeping ourselves focused on the 2028 elections.
I would have loved to ask what makes it more attractive, but because of time, we will save that question for another conversation if possible. But thank you so much, Sidi Tunis, the Public Secretary for the All People's Congress APC Party.